Welcome to the Ask Ralph podcast, where listening to an experienced financial professional can help you make sense of confusing questions, current headlines, and industry trends about taxes, small business, financial decision-making, investment strategies, and even the art of proper budgeting, as Ralph makes the complex simple by sharing his real-world knowledge with all things financial. Now here's your host, Ralph Estep Jr.
Welcome back to the Ask Ralph show. For our final topic of today's podcast, I wanted to talk to you about something that is difficult to talk about, and that's the financial impact of putting a loved one in a nursing home. Now, this is something that none of us really want to have to deal with, but it's a reality, as our culture, as we get older, as our parents get older, or our loved ones get older, it's something we're going to have to face. And making a decision to place a loved one in a nursing home is never easy. Apart from the emotional considerations, there are significant financial implications to consider. Let's explore some of those key points today to help you understand and prepare for financial impacts. I'm dealing with this in my own family. Number one, cost of care. Nursing home care can be expensive, and it's crucial to be aware of the potential costs. These expenses can vary depending upon factors such as the facility location, the level of care required, and facility amenities. You really need to do your research on the average costs in your area and assess how they align with your financial situation. You've got to have a realistic discussion with those involved and talk about, what can someone really afford and what are those options out there that they can afford. And you also have to understand that their level of care may increase over time. So it's not necessarily a question of what you can afford or what that person can afford now. It's more of a question of, how long will their money last and what is the level of care or the step-ups in level of care that are being needed. The second thing you want to be concerned about is health insurance coverage. It's really important you review your loved one's health insurance coverage to see what expenses may be covered. Here's the deal. Medicare typically covers only limited stays in skilled nursing facilities. Long-term care insurance, if you have it, may help cover some or all of the costs. But you really need to understand the coverage provided by insurance that can help you plan accordingly. The other thing I want to talk about while we're talking about insurance is you also, once you make a decision to put someone or they make their own decision to move into some kind of, facility, you may need to assess, where they're at with their insurance and whether there needs to be any changes. Right now we're seeing all these commercials on TV with these Medicare supplements and Part A, Part B, Part C, all those things. And it's important to evaluate those each year. Number 3, Medicaid. So if your loved one's assets and income fall within certain limits, they may qualify for Medicaid. That's a government program that assists with long-term care costs. This is not simple. Eligibility criteria and regulations vary by state, so it's essential to consult with an experienced Medicaid planner or an elder law attorney to navigate the application process. Yeah, a lot of words there, but the truth is this. It may seem like, let's use mom as an example. So mom doesn't have much in assets. Well, she's going to qualify for what they call a Medicare bed. Well, it depends because it depends on what assets mom had. There's a look back period and all those sort of things. So it's really important that you consult with an elder care attorney or a tax professional or accountant like myself. Number 4, asset evaluation and planning. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about the cost. Assessing your loved one's assets is crucial when planning for nursing home care. Depending upon your circumstances, it may be necessary to consider options such as selling assets, liquidating investments, or restructuring finances to meet eligibility requirements for Medicaid or to fund long-term care. What am I talking about here? What I'm talking about here is, you may have to make a decision to sell mom or dad's house. You may need to meet with their financial advisor and talk about the investment choices that they have. One of the things that I've seen recently is I had a particular client come in. They're going to put their mother in nursing care, and a lot of her assets were in pre-tax assets, such as IRAs and annuities. Well, the problem with that is, in order to extract those funds from the investment house, you've got to make sure that you are planning for the taxes. There's a tax ramification to that. Number 5, estate planning. This is crucial. Review your loved one's estate planning documents, such as wills, trusts, and powers of attorney. Ensure that these documents are up to date and reflect your loved one's wishes. Consulting with an estate planning attorney can help protect assets and minimize the financial impact of long-term care. Now listen, if you're dealing with somebody who's got some mental deficiencies like dementia, I'm hoping you dealt with this in the past. So this is really important. It's something I really emphasize to all of my clients. It's of the utmost importance important is that you have those end-of-life documents in place. So this is just, reinforcing that. Number 6, veterans benefits. If your loved one is a veteran or a surviving spouse of a veteran, they may very well qualify for certain benefits to the Department of Veterans Affairs. These benefits can help offset the cost of nursing home care. What you want to do is reach out to Veterans Benefit Administration or consider consulting with a veteran service organization to explore available options. I tell this to my clients all the time. You've got to look at every single option that's out there and find one that would work best for your situation. You don't want to miss that. Number 7, caregiver support. Being a caregiver for a loved one in a nursing home can also have a financial implication. And this is the tough thing I see in my practice all the time. Balancing work and caregiving responsibilities may require adjustments to your employment situation. You may have to change your employment so you can be there for your loved one, even in a facility. Investigate options such as family leave policy, flexible work arrangements, or seeking caregiver support groups for assistance and guidance. Unfortunately, what I've seen in practice is this is an area where, especially when I see a dementia situation like a husband and wife where one has it, one doesn't, it really puts a lot of stress on the caregiver. And finally, number 8, emotional support. Lastly, don't overlook the emotional toll that placing a loved one in a nursing home can have on you and your family. It's really important that you seek emotional support from friends, family, or counseling service to help navigate this challenging time and reduce stress. This is not an easy situation. And guess what? It gets harder as your loved one starts to age and you've got to make more difficult decisions. Remember, every family situation is unique, and it's essential to consult with professionals specializing in elder care and financial planning. They can provide personalized advice based on your specific circumstances and help you make informed decisions.
Ask Ralph will be right back.
I want to take a few minutes and tell you about a book I just finished writing. The name of the book is Mastering Your Finances, Your Personal Guide to Financial Freedom. It's not just a book, my friends. It's a roadmap to a secure and thriving financial future. As a seasoned accountant, I penned this book to put the power of financial planning right at your fingertips. It promises to transform your financial landscape from a confusing maze of numbers and jargon to clear, well-trodden path towards prosperity. In my book, I unfold the often intimidating world of finance, breaking it down into easy, digestible sections. It provides you with real tools and knowledge to craft a personal financial plan that aligns with your unique goals and aspirations. I hope you'll get it and discover the profound impact of strategic financial planning as your journey through real-life examples, practical tips, and insightful advice. Mastering Your Finances is more than a guide, it's a lifeline to financial literacy and independence. Take control of your financial destiny and embrace the freedom that comes with financial stability. This book is an essential read for anyone seeking to navigate the world of personal finance with confidence and ease. You can find the book on Amazon.com. Just search for my name, Ralph Estep, and you'll find both paperback and Kindle editions. And I really hope you check it out.
And now back to the podcast. Thank you for joining us on the Ask Ralph podcast. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. And remember, financial issues don't have to be complicated. Just ask Ralph. The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media, Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.